Sutton. Look at the fans getting a nice hosing down from the Sutton ground staff. That's good value, isn't it, on a hot day? Good value. Players back out. Crowd, certainly the home crowd, hoping for better. And as you're about to discover, changes afoot for the home side. A couple of them, in fact, as we rejoin Adam Virgo and Adam Somerton.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. Well, Paul Doswell reacting quickly here to what was a disappointing first start from his side with the double change at the start of this second period. It's Lafayette and Cadogan who have come on here. Hard to define just how important this next 45 minutes is for both these clubs. Opportunities like this don't always come around that often. Football League, not so long ago, a real distant dream for Sutton United and Boreham Wood. Now it's so close. They dare not let the chance of glory slip away from them here. Boreham Wood, by the way, looking to reach Wembley for the first time in their history. Sutton have played there 3 times before, but they all ended in defeat. Early involvement here for Levy. So a double change, Adam Virgo, from Sutton United at the start of this second half.
Well, I wasn't surprised, to be honest, that Paul Doswell's gone to his bench. I mentioned it 5 minutes before. It's just interesting how he's done it. That's with Thomas coming on. Now Nicky Bailey going left back. More of a natural midfielder, doesn't have the pace of what Thomas does. But no surprise that he's sacrificed the midfielder to bring Lafayette. They're now back to their 4-4-2, which I was fully expecting that they would start with today. So now the long ball's up to the front. They've now got Ross Lafayette, who's decent in the air. Now the likes of Cadogan and Tommy Wright, they can play off him now.
It is going to be a very different approach, isn't it, from Sutton in this second half. Right, perhaps a little bit withdrawn, as we see here. He's had so much praise from his manager of late, Tommy Wright. Can he turn up with a big goal here for Sutton United? And they were the team that finished 3rd in the regular season. Boreham Wood just behind them in 4th. Balanta, whose goal separates the sides at Gander Green Lake. Chip forward by Murtagh. For a nudge there on Lafayette by Stevens. Certainly the crowd thought so.
I'm sorry, go back to what I said. I thought it'd be more of a 4-4-2, but Tommy Wright's just going to play in that hole. You get those decisions in the second half, Ross Lafayette.
Lafayette's header inside. Here's John. No changes, just to confirm, for Boreham Wood at half-time. They're as they were. Experienced playoff joy as recently as 2015. Boreham Wood, they were promoted from National League South that way. They beat Whitehawk in the final. 3 years on, they reached the Football League via the same method. What an achievement that would be for Boreham Wood, and they're in the box seat here. Taylor, Bolarimwa. Crossfield ball here for Nicky Bailey was precise, and it was brought down well too. Cadogan on the outside. First involvement for the half-time sub. It was volley clear by Murtagh. The corner kick was just prevented, but it only comes here for Nicky Bailey. Bailey's ball in, and a header as from Josh Taylor, who's been hurt in the process.
Nicky Bailey with a decent teasing ball in. Taylor just pulling off Murtagh there, but I think it was Stevens in the end that clattered into him. Just after the little header, just right there. Certainly a sore one for him.
He's a big lad, Stevens. It's not someone you want to run into anyway. Manager's Player of the Year, Stevens, this season for Boreham Wood. More of Welsh under-21 international, but Taylor back to his feet, which is good to see. A little bit more positive, a little bit brighter from Sutton now.
Yeah, they needed a little spark. Changes will certainly have made that with the different options now in that final third.
Down here by Collins, and now it's Louis John, an England C international. Long up towards Lafayette, who's going to give Stevens a bit more to think about in this second half. Balanta. For Levy, playing it against Collins. Slippery really does truly lead by example. Jamie Collins. We got that winning penalty in the famous FA Cup game against Leeds United here last season. Woodard's forward to take the throw in for Boreham Wood. It's it back again off Murtagh. Balanta. Corner kick conceded by Louis John.
Still a cautious approach from Boreham Wood in this second half.
Stevens and Doe up from the back, champions there too, all three centre-halves there. Woodard and Shakes have stayed back. Keeper decided to stay put, and all the way through it goes. I know he's been trying to get into the head of his players, full of the knowledge of the fact that they're tired, knowing that Sutton have played a game less than them, of course. And he did point out before the game, Luke Garrard, that the average age of this side is a bit younger. Just maybe one of the tactics he's used to try and get a bit of extra energy in the players' legs.
Dean Saunders mentioned it before the game that players tend to use the excuse of being tired, and he certainly took that out straight away. I think he'd be really, really pleased. I think they do look sharp. Clearly, you couldn't tell if you hadn't seen them Thursday that they played Thursday. But he knows it's a big 45 minutes for his side, because he knows that Sutton will certainly have to come forward a little bit more on the front foot, be patient and try and get them on the counter-attack.
Played forward by Louis John, who was looking for Bolorunwa. He nearly found him too. The header clear was by Champion. Eastman. It's really nicely done. Now here's the pacey for Levy. Bruno Andrade waiting inside the box. It's played here for Murtagh. Block was by Eastman. And now it's Andrade. This time it was Bailey who got in the way. Champion getting in front of Wright.
Just need to do a little bit better there, Tommy Wright. Ball goes up to you on the halfway line, and you're there first. You have to be slightly stronger.
Gave Champion the chance to make the challenge, didn't he? And down there was Ricky Shakes, and it'd be a free kick for Boreham Wood.
Certainly a dangerous position now. Quality of Andrade. Murtagh as well.
Double change from Paul Doswell at half-time, trying to affect things, try and get his side perhaps more on the front foot. What they can't afford to do is concede a second here, where it's so important they're concentrated at the back.
It's a difficult ball for Andrade, because you've got to get the pace right. You certainly can go towards goal. We've seen him score from this distance before, in this angle as well.
Goalkeeper Butler just slightly off his line. Plenty of movement in the box as well, and it was down! And it's another one. The centre-half brought into the side today to make only his second start of his second spell with Boreham Wood. Has doubled their advantage here. And it's just exactly what Sutton didn't need right at the start of this second half.
Well, I mentioned it before, it's just about the pace of the delivery. for someone to go and attack it. It's Scott, though, he just runs off Lafayette and gets there first, gets goal side of him. Lafayette's then struggling, it may come off. Cross Lafayette at the end, but that is such a teasing ball. It just gets goal side of him. And the sub just gets the final touch in there. Now Sutton have a massive mountain to climb.
And it's Stowe celebrating, but it will be Lafayette. I think he'll be credited with that as an own goal. Man brought on at half-time as a sub, but whoever is credited with the goal, it has huge significance for this playoff semi-final. It's come 9 minutes into the second half. Now here comes Bruno Andrade trying to make things even worse for Sutton in this game. Is really threatening to get away from the use here. Incident, I think, off the ball as well there with Louis John.
We certainly can't afford to lose their heads now, Sutton. The odd decision may go in against them.
Boreham Wood really looking to press home their advantage here for a side that played as recently as Thursday at the end of a long, gruelling season, I have to say, and even in these temperatures, they look pretty fresh today. Bailey, it's got to be a reaction here at some point from Sutton. How hard they've worked to get into this position. Lovely control that by Balanta. Shakes. Well, the Boreham Wood fans already singing they're going to Wembley. Could it be a bit premature? Bolarimwa.
I think overall emotion, Adam, will be one of disappointment. Formation started in that first half. Thought he compact that midfield, tried to change it at half-time. Conceding from a set play as well, which is always disappointing. And he's not had a reaction from his players in the second half. Can't really remember Grant Smith being called into action too often in this game so far.
Well, they've proved themselves to be a very good team this season. Sutton, Paul Doswell himself said that they're a match for anyone in this division. It's just not been their day so far. You'll see a third and final change made here by Paul Doswell in the 12th minute of the second half. That doesn't tell you how unhappy the manager is with the way things are going here, the way his side are playing. I don't know what would. Eastman will strike one. It's too far off.
Grant Smith will be hoping that this was going wide because he was beaten just a little bit too much on the cut from the shot from Craig Eastman.
Well, it's Tommy Wright who's being taken off here, their top scorer this season, but it's Byron Harrison who's on loan from Barrow who'll replace him. He's got 4 goals in 13 appearances during his loan spell. Actually used to play for Boreham Wood, had around a year with them between November 2006, October 2007. That's a big call, though, to take Wright off, isn't it?
Well, it was, but I can kind of see, I know they need a goal to come in, but they're not getting enough possession in the game. And they're not turning him, so they're really bypassing him. Ball up to him on the halfway line. Champion got there before him. They've got 2 target men to go for. Now it's really important that the likes of Cadogan in particular, Bolawinwa, go in there. It's been a frustrating afternoon for him anyway. Felt for him first half. Not really getting too much service.
Played forward by Doe. So at the moment it's Boreham Wood who will be heading through to the final against Tranmere this coming Saturday. Whoever takes on Tranmere, we will be there. Our coverage begins at 2:30 from Wembley's programme also that's in 4K. The flick on was good. There's a little bit left on the goalkeeper there, Grant Smith. That's what Champion is saying. It was Lafayette who felt he had every right to go for that.
It's on his shoulder, whether he's felt he's fallen awkwardly on it. So just a little bit late, it's just where he landed on it there. Saw Jim Kellerman, didn't we, on Wednesday, just falling awkwardly.
Not moved a great deal at all here, the goalkeeper. So we have this break in play. Let's tell you about what we have coming up on BT Sport and the Ladbrokes Premiership, our highlights programme tomorrow at 6:45 on One for That. Good roundup of all the action north of the border. And our next live game in the Ladbrokes Championship playoffs comes from Tannadice. Dundee United against Livingston tomorrow at 7:15 also. That's on One, by the way. And then we have the Edinburgh Derby for you Wednesday 7:15 from Tynecastle. Hearts against Hibs on One. And then we're at Easter Road for Hibernian against Rangers next Sunday at midday. BT Sport 1 for that. Let's see that second goal then for Boreham Wood. It was Doe who was celebrating, but it looks as though it's going to be credited as an own goal for Lafayette.
Certainly the final touch off Russell Lafayette. Not too sure if Scott Doe's header originally was going towards goal.
Still not quite right, is he, Grant Smith? Someone they can ill afford to be without. As you can see there, it's featured in every single minute of the season for Boreham Wood. Hasn't kept a clean sheet in his last 5, though, his worst run since the opening 8 games of the season. But top of the charts in that respect across the course of the season, along with Walker and Jalal, all level on 18 clean sheets. But it's a day that's gone very much to plan so far for Luke Garrard.
Yeah, tactically got it right. Maybe Paul Doswell's maybe worrying too much about Boreham Wood and worried about their tactics and not to what they would usually do.
Came off Louis John for the throw-in. Woodards for Levy here. He's inside a corner. And off Terrell Thomas. Wood looking to reach Wembley for the first time in their history. They're about half an hour away here. To be quite the turnaround from Sutton United, but they are the home side. It's a good claim as well from Butler. I'm frustrated that he couldn't distribute that more quickly. Cadogan. Great cross! It's a really good defensive header, isn't it? Acknowledged by the goalkeeper as well. Ricky Shakes really sensed the danger there.
Well, you realise the importance of the header. The way that the players got around him afterwards. With Harrison coming to attack, he'd certainly favour the forward a lot more, but it's brilliant defending at the far post from Ricky Shakes.
It means so much to him, Boreham Wood getting to Wembley. His 4th season with the club. He was a playoff winner with them in the league below. 2015. She started out at Bolton. I just wonder whether he's still struggling a bit here, Smith, and whether that's contributed to the poor kick out. It's one to keep an eye on. Goalkeeper here coming out to take this. comfortable at all, is he, Grant Smith? It's nicely played to Cadogan.
There's been excellent Kieran Murtagh in that midfield. I mentioned it before the start of the game, you're looking for a player in particular to control the game in terms of the tempo and passing. Broken up play brilliantly, but also has had that energy then to support the three in the final third.
Players Player of the Year at Boreham Wood, the Antigua and Barbuda International.
There's a lot of them in the National League of Motion, you keep saying every game.
Yeah. Paul Doswell has done all he can in terms of changes to try and affect this game, but nothing's quite working at the moment for Sutton. After travelling many of those supporters thousands of miles supporting their team, they're just seeing their dreams slip away with, well, it's nothing more than a whimper at the moment.
You and I were talking at half-time, we were here when they beat Leeds United, and there's more of an atmosphere, there's more of an expectation that they could do something. I don't get that feel today with the fans that have come in their numbers to try and support their side, but nothing's really fallen from them. I mean, you're not playing well, you need something to fall for you. Tommy Wright shot that went past the post, a header at the far post that was run by Ricky Shakes, and just sometimes as a manager you just don't turn up on the day, and unfortunately you cannot afford to do that at this stage of the season.
We'll celebrate a decade in charge at Sutton this month. How special it would be if that could be combined with the club's first ever Football League promotion in 120 years of history. It's just the fact that Sutton are so far below the levels we know that they're capable of, that we've seen from them this season, that will be the big frustration. Yeah.
I'm not seeing the energy levels there, Adam. Sometimes you go through games where you're not great on the ball and you're not really controlling the tempo and everything else, but just the work rate's not there at the moment. I'm not saying they're not trying, but it just seems that Boreham Wood's game plan is working, playing well in that final third.
Long and hopeful as Lafayette tries to get it under control. Bolarimwa got there, and that's a great ball over and a massive chance to reduce the deficit for Lafayette, and one he couldn't take.
You can't afford to be missing chances like this. When you're 2-0 down in a one-off game, Scott Doe goes in a little bit narrow, just runs off Danny Woodards as well. Really, really, someone of Lafayette's experience and quality. And this will say everything. That needs to hit the back of the net. You know that's a massive miss.
Returned from a loan spell just recently. Been with Maidstone, Ross Lafayette. Brought back into the fold by Paul Doswell. They still have time on their side though, Sutton United.
The one thing they can do, they've created one or two chances. Good chances as well.
It goes from Butler.
It's a great ball from Butler, the goalie.
Taylor. Louis John. That's behind for a corner.
What you do now, see Grant Smith, he's been struggling with that ankle injury. Do you stick one under the crossbar? Put him under a little bit of pressure now. Surround him. Seems uncomfortable, doesn't he?
Harrison just gone to stand right next to the goalkeeper. As Ricketts, the captain, stood between Harrison and the goalkeeper. There's a bit of pushing and shoving in the boxes while the referees just held up the taking of this corner kick. But if they could get one, Sutton, how the atmosphere would change at Gander Green Lane. 2-goal cushion for Boreham Wood. Cross it comes here for Collins. Just got away from the captain.
Just didn't quite fall for him, did it, on that first touch?
This is the danger on the counter-attack, though, with Boreham Wood. Andrade couldn't quite find Balanta on that occasion, but as Sutton, as they inevitably will, commit more resources forward. They are a side, Boreham Wood, who can exploit things on the break. Sutton furious they couldn't continue there. The referee stopping play because I think a bout of cramp here, which Lafayette is helping out with. But Sutton are saying they should have been allowed to carry on there.
The ball was in play. The throw was taken before Stevens went down with cramp.
Stevens still not completely over that cramp. Saw a fair bit of that yesterday, didn't we, at Prenton Park? Players, Ginelli, I think it was, of Tranmere, who was really struggling with it. He's really having to dig deep at this stage of the season, particularly in this heat as well, which we should mention, really. In the mid-20s, if not above degrees Celsius. Here's Louis John. Stevens got his head to that, despite the fact he's still hobbling a bit. There was a clash of heads there. Louis John involved for Sutton.
Just a collision now, Scott Doe. Referee right to stop it straight away with the clash of heads.
And John immediately back to his feet. Looks though Doe has come off worse here. There's a cut here for Scott Doe. Inside the last 20 minutes then. Let's hear from Grant Holt and Dean Saunders. They're with Matt Smith.
They are indeed. In fact, the two old pros were just talking about the tactics of injuries, time wasting, and how these two teams, well, certainly Boreham Wood, are making the most of this situation.
Yeah, obviously the manager sent the message on, every chance you get, go down, let's get a breather. It's boiling hot. We played a game on Thursday. A few players are getting cramp, and it's just like game management and being a bit streetwise. But they brought the subs on, Sutton, but they're still playing the same way. They're still not playing any football.
It's as if the changes were to make that style of play easier rather than change the style, Grant.
Yeah, that's it. I think you're totally right. I think it was to make it easier. It wasn't to change the style. It was to keep doing what they're doing, but getting a little bit bigger. As I said, look, it's a great time for Boreham Wood to do what they're doing now. Sutton just have a little bit of a lift, get on top, and they've just absolutely killed it now. But Boreham Wood, per percentage, the one thing I will say, Sutton are going to get hit. They keep leaving 1v1, 2v2s, and like I said at the start of the game, Boreham Wood can hurt you.
Yeah, getting close to, and it seems most appropriate this weekend, to squeaky bum time for obviously the home side. Can they get some foothold in this match? If not, Boreham Wood are off to Wembley to face Tranmere Rovers. Back to Adam and Adam.
I just feel if they could get the impetus that a goal would provide for Sutton with the home crowd behind them, they could go on and really get back into this. But 2 goals down, the second one credited as an own goal for Lafayette. It's been patched up here, the former Dagenham and Redbridge man, who's played very well when you consider this is only the second start of his second spell at the club.
Yeah, good experience to come in, but as you mentioned there, good game management to be used to these pressure situations. Turley was going to certainly be a big miss, but Scott Doe's come in and done excellently well.
Here's Bailey. Cadogan need to get some good ball into the box here, the home side. They've got 2 big centre forwards on the pitch, but just delayed the crossover, and the chance was gone. Bailey, and now Thomas. Came off Stevens. Just a reminder for those who maybe aren't familiar with the new playoff format in the National League. This is a one-off game, so we must have a winner today. Extra time and penalties possible if Sutton can get back into this. There's a push on the back there of Shakes.
Things just don't seem to be falling for Sutton at the moment, and you need that little bit of luck. Again, another excellent header at the far post area there from Ricky Shakes.
Whatever happens here, it really has been a very impressive season's work from both of these clubs. Boreham Wood finished the regular season 17 points up on the previous season. For Sutton, it was even better. The U's ended up 21 points better off compared to last season. It is all that work about to go to waste, about to ultimately come to nothing in terms of their attempts for promotion. Final 15 minutes almost upon us, and how Sutton need a route back into
they
this
need something.
To the box it goes from Butler. Collins got his head to that. Well defended by Champions corner.
Did really, really well there. Not sure if Grant Smith was aware where he was in his goal just there.
Just applying a little bit more pressure here, Sutton. Now this time Grant Smith, just for a moment, was surrounded there. Bolarimwa has kept it going. It's Taylor now for Sutton. Back it goes here for Cadogan. And goes the cross. And Collins felt he was being held in the box there.
And again, it's the quality of ball there, not quite good enough. There's always safe there, going out for a goal kick.
Did he have any case?
Really, I don't think so. You hold, in the middle of the field when you go, when the ball's kicked forward, you hold each other off to try and win that little battle and in the edge to win a header. So that's exactly the same like they've just done there.
Murtaugh's ball forward. Referee's played an advantage here. Bruno Andrade plays it against Terrell Thomas. Sutton's playoff misery going to continue here. The U's have never gone up from any division via the playoff system. 5 times they've competed in them, 5 times they've fallen short. Most recent disappointment in the National League South semi-final against Dover back in 2014. 4 years on, is it going to be the same story? Eliminated at the semi-final stage. Does history like that get in the minds of the players at all?
Certainly from the minds of the club, to be honest, Adam. A lot of these players wouldn't have been around, and different clubs have players that weren't around that you don't win at certain clubs, and it's a long run of the history. So a bit like what we felt at Tranmere yesterday, the nerves with the fans after last year's disappointment.
Long it went from Louis John. Lafayette's brought it down. Fouled by Ricketts.
Well, he done well there with the first touch, Ross Lafayette, to set himself up to be fouled. A very difficult ball to bring down in the air like that. Pinscott, though, brilliantly. Just a little touch there. 50-50 challenge there with Ricketts. This is a massive chance now. This really does have to go in. To give yourself a bit of time to get back into this game. Ricky Bailey go for the shot.
It's got to be tempting, hasn't it?
Especially with the 2-man wall.
They just need a spark. They need some inspiration here. Sutton United. Can Bailey be the man to provide it? There's his cross. It's to Collins at the back post. It's headed down to Bolarimwa. And it'll come back out to Bailey. And Cadogan. And it's a goal kick.
Get this feeling as an ex-player, Adam, you just know it cannot possibly not be your day. Again, get an opportunity opportunity. I thought Bill Windler could have just struck that first time. And again, block after block, and even when it falls to Cadogan here, it just doesn't fall for you.
Just a lack of conviction from them really in the final third as well. Hit and hope really from Stevens. He's made all his changes, can't affect the game in that respect, Paul Doswell. They're just hoping for a turnaround here. Well, it'll be more in hope than conviction right now. Boreham Wood on the brink of a bit of club history. It'll be their first ever trip to Wembley. Remember, they, like Sutton, never played in the Football League. It is very much the promised land for Boreham Wood. And if they did make the final, it would be such a contrast in that respect with Tranmere, wouldn't it? The side who, well, maybe have already, you could argue, underachieved in terms of their target was the title this season.
Well, every year, isn't it? Tranmere will always feel the pressure will certainly be on them.
It's Tranmere's second chance. They showed great character in the way that they came back. Not once but twice yesterday against Ebbsfleet. Bailey with the throw in. Eastman. Deflection is going to take it behind for a corner. It's what they need a bit more of. Big 10 minutes ahead here. Taylor. Cadogan. Too close to Smith.
Disappointing. Take the short corner. Ball was slightly switch off, just create that little 2-on-1. You needed a bit of quality there. It's not the one ball you'd want to go in.
Harrison finds Cadogan. Taylor. Cadogan. Cadogan's gone for the return and got it. This is better play from Sutton. It's a foul there by Doe.
Certainly can't have too many complaints. Good little link-up play there as well. Big opportunity now. Do have the cut back maybe. Just Taylor on the edge of the box if you're going to be brave enough to do that.
Cadogan just sent it into the box here.
Andrade now just come back and just read that little one to the edge there.
Everybody back defending. The Boreham Wood protecting what they've got. It's a 2-goal advantage. It's reduced to 1 now. Bolarimwa gives Sutton a much-needed lifeline here. And what a final 10 minutes we're in for at Gander Green Lane. They have hope again.
He scored a great goal like this against Dagenham. Attacks the ball brilliantly. You need a bit of quality from Cadogan. He does that. Again, another set play in a playoff game has cost Boreham Wood a clean sheet. As poor as you've been, set plays become vital. They've given themselves a massive lifeline now. The crowd are certainly up for it. See how now Boreham Wood deal with the pressure for the first time in this game.
And remember, it's Boreham Wood who played the more football. It's Boreham Wood who should be the much more tired, have had their injury problems, and they played, of course, as recently as Thursday against Fylde. Will that tell in the closing stages?
They'll certainly be the ones now on the front foot. You can clearly see now the energy's there with the home side. They've had time now to get a second.
It's Lafayette looking to get on the turn. It was taken away from him by Champion. Now the nerves might tell a bit as well for Boreham Wood.
Game's completely changed now. You can clearly see the tempo of Sutton have really risen.
Louis John. Shakes with the header. It's not a good header though. Where's this been from Sutton for the first 80 minutes?
He needed a shout there from Grant Smith to say, let it go in for a goal kick. He didn't need to make that header. Ricky Shakes to keep it in play.
For the first time here, there's real conviction, there's real belief about Sutton United that they can do this. 6 minutes to go of normal time. In goes another set piece. He'll come out to Taylor, who's urged to shoot. Won't come down quickly enough for him. There's a hamstring problem there, I think, for Balanta. But the referee here has played an advantage. There's 2 down for Boreham Wood as Felipe looks to race through. Sliding in was Bolarimwa. He says he got the ball. But it's all happening here. There's definitely going to be a change required for Boreham Wood as Bolarimwa is booked. Balanta has done his hamstring here. Well, they were threatening on the counter. He was concerned that Felipe was going through on goal, and I guess you could say he's taken one for the team, but he says he got the ball.
To lose another player. Bare bones now, isn't it, for Luke Garrard's side?
Well, if it is his hamstring, which it looks as though it is, the way he pulled up, if they do get through to the final, you think he's got very slim chance, if any, of making it against Tranmere.
Looks like he's lining up a double change of Quigley and Alex Davey from the bench.
Well, he's already lost Ferrier to injury, Luke Garrard. He's lost Kane Smith as well with a knee problem. He won't play again this season. Quigley, there's an Irish under-21 internationals ready to come on. And we're going to have a fair bit of added time at the end of this game as well.
I feel for these players because the opportunity to play at Wembley is always a dream for every player, but for Luke Garrard as well, you want your best players going up against the best teams. And he's been so unfortunate in these 2 games, isn't he, with injuries.
So Alex Davey is going to be coming on here. Still awaiting this double change then for Boreham Wood. Alex Davey, a former Scottish youth international. He was signed from Cheltenham in January. He's actually with Chelsea as a youngster when the FA Youth Cup in 2012. The same squad as the likes of Nathan Ake and Chalabar, Swift, Baker, Piaz on that group. So he comes on for the injured Balanta. Three minutes of normal time to go. It's all just about getting through this now for Boreham Wood, isn't it?
You know that Andrade is going to take this shot on. Just with Felipe in the box, so...
Just about everybody stayed back here for Boreham Wood. They're just hoping for a moment of brilliance from Andrade.
I wonder if he'll go goalie side. Butler's just quite over the side of the wall.
There it goes. Oh! And it's a chance, and it's in! Would you believe it? Felipe does it for Boreham Wood. Magnificent in the first instance from Bruno Andrade. And surely now, Boreham Wood are heading to Wembley for the first time in their history.
Well, he's the only one who reacts to the free kick from Andrade. He's absolutely fuming. Jamie Butler. You know the shot's going to happen, and you've got 2 players there, and it's John. He just watches the ball, and he's the only one, Felipe, that's going to go in there and attack it. Just look at John. They're both watching the ball. 6 Sutton players there. 1 Boreham Wood player ends up in the back of the net. But that is quality from Bruno Andrade. They can start now booking their tickets for Wembley.
Well, the word from the bench is that Bruno Andrade was just about to be taken off as well. Might have been considering for Levy also. Just remarkable the way that the two Sutton defenders in there, John and Thomas, were just looking at each other.
Unbelievable. Just not being Sutton State. Just unfortunate that possibly one of their poorest performances of the season has happened at such a crucial time.
Just when it looked like they were building up a head of steam and that they were going to make things very, very uncomfortable for Boreham Wood in the final 5 minutes or so. Now the belief has evaporated with that touch over the line from Felivi. But we are expecting 7 minutes of added time. Corner kick to Boreham Wood, and Louis John's got to be careful here. Well, he's talked his way into the box. There won't be any rush to take this. It's confirmation it is 7 minutes of added time. Wish to get it forward, it's just given away. Merton. They've made all three of their changes. Sutton, Josh Taylor has just pulled up a little bit here.
Just when he just cleared the ball. I don't know why he didn't reach up to the Lafayette. He just pulled up after he striked it.
Harrison. 6 minutes to go. Louis John with the ball in. 3-2! Game on again! It's Lafayette for the U's! And just when it had looked hopeless for Sutton, they get themselves back into this again.
Quality ball in from Louis John. I just knew that was a goal ball the minute he left his foot. Pulls on that far post area, hangs it up there brilliantly. He missed one earlier. Smith can only stand there and see it run past him. Brilliant header there from Ross Lafayette. I thought this game was over. They've given themselves another lifeline.
And that's been undoubtedly a low-par performance from the standards we've seen from Sutton this season, but well, they've shown character in still trying, still going for this, still believing. The stakes are too high not to. Yellow card from Murtagh. 5 minutes of added time remaining. Paul Doswell can barely look. Luke Garrard can barely look. Wonderful playoff drama again in the National League.
As poor as the first half was, the second half has really kicked into gear.
Confirmation of that booking for Murtagh. Will they get another chance to get an equaliser that would send this into extra time? Sutton United. Remember, some of the supporters have already left. Long it goes again.
Look, Collins up there now, throwing everybody at them. Silly free kick there, he's on a yellow as well.
Yeah, the supporters, the Sutton fans are well aware of that too. Reminding the referee that Murtagh has just been booked. And that was quite clever of him maybe to take the attention away by showing he's perhaps hurt himself in making that challenge as well. But it was exactly what Taylor wanted him to do, wasn't it? Felivi off and helped on his way too. But will his goal be the winning goal? Quigley is on here, Irish under-21 international. 3.5 minutes to go. Can Sutton get an equalising goal and send this to extra time? Not like that, they won't.
The one ball you needed from Nicky Bailey, and he just failed to deliver it. He knows it as well.
Still, they have a chance, though. I would imagine the Boreham Wood supporters probably felt that finally this was done and dusted.
I
but
did as well, I must admit.
it still isn't.
Serves me right, doesn't it, for writing this game off.
Expect the unexpected in the playoffs, whatever the league. The pressure does incredible things, doesn't it? Everybody forward now for Sutton. Long it goes from Jamie Butler. And it's run all the way through. Who was the last touch off there? I thought it might have come off Ricketts, but it's a goal kick that's been given. A champion, I should say. Bolland.
Just slightly overhit it. Oh, certainly a good decision there from the linesman.
So many players out there are hobbling, struggling their way through these last few minutes. He is so close to the Wembley Arch. Said it would be a dream come true if he could lead out Boreham Wood at Wembley. He's 2 minutes away from realising that dream, Luke Garrard. Yellow cards going to be shown to Woodarts. Every single Sutton player in the Boreham Wood half.
Well, they've had 2 free kicks very quickly, one from Nicky Bailey that went out, Butler's one from deep that went out. It's so important now you just get that right pace and trajectory on it. Just got Andrade now for that second ball to go through. Further up.
Less than a minute and a half to go. Goalkeeper stayed put. Oh, what a save that is from Smith. Brilliant reactions from the goalkeeper. Collins trying to keep it going. And he'll hold on to that for as long as possible.
What a save. What a save from Grant Smith. Just a reaction with his left hand. Ross Lafayette cannot believe it. Great delivery and it falls to him. It's just a reaction save with his left hand. Strong one as well.
Well, he's rated as one of the top keepers in this league, and England C international proved his worth there again. Grant Smith, last minute of added time. Bollerin with the ball in, a great cross. And it's going to come across here to Cadogan. Bailey's in space. He's got to get this right. He's got right underneath it to the back post. They kept it in and Collins is there. The referee says it's gone out, it's a goal kick, and that might just be it now.
Just so many times that they got the one ball right from Louis John that led to the goal. Had 3 or 4 since and just overhit them every time.
Late change being made here for Boreham Wood. Yet another player they've got with a problem here. It's Scott Doe who's hurt. He's going to have to do quite the patch-up job, Luke Garrard, if they are to go to Wembley.
He's slightly limping. Bruno Andrade just limping off that. Maybe a blister, maybe.
So it's Sorba Thomas who's coming on here.
Again, just you're looking for a big game player. Adam Andrade was that man today.
Last seconds of this semi-final. Cadogan. Launched forward by Bailey. Lafayette it was with the knockdown. It shakes with the clearance, quickly heads it out of play. We've had the 8 added minutes. Now it's all on the referee as Garrard checks his watch. It's got to go in there. Bailey now to Cadogan. Taylor. Bailey. Still we go on. Cadogan with the cross. It's too high for Bollerin. They've done it! Boreham Wood are going to Wembley for the first time in their history. Luke Garrard's side through to the final. They'll meet Tranmere this coming Saturday. Paul does well, Sutton fall just short.